Hello, survivors. Welcome to the State of Decay 2 stream. I'm your host, Geoffrey Card, and if you were paying attention to the Microsoft briefing, you might have noticed we just released State of Decay 2 Heartland. This has been driving me crazy for the past several streams because you guys have a lot of questions about Trumbull Valley and about the next expansion to State of Decay 2, and I haven't been able to answer any of them because we were waiting for this big splashy presentation at the Microsoft briefing. So basically, in case you missed it, they showed a trailer for State of Decay 2 Heartland, which is it's a new story campaign that takes you into Trumbull Valley, and it released on the exact same day that it was announced. So we've been holding back for a really long time to be ready to make this particular announcement. So here's what we're going to do on this stream. First off, I'm going to let you know about all of the crazy promotions and weird things that are going on during E3 that you can participate in. Then we're going to go through State of Decay 2 Heartland and kind of learn what that DLC is all about. Then the development director of State of Decay 2 is going to come in here and be our guest. We're going to talk to him about what it's like to release a game like this, particularly all of the stresses involved in trying to do a day and date announcement and release all at the same time. And then we're going to play a little bit of the very beginning of State of Decay 2 Heartland. We're not going to go very far. We don't want to spoil it for folks who haven't had a chance to play it yet. But we're just going to do about 15 minutes, give you a sense of what's in the game. And then last but not least, we're going to go through the patch notes. Because there's also a few improvements to the core game that came in at the same time as State of Decay 2 Heartland. So, first off, State of Decay 2 Heartland is available on Game Pass. So if you are one of the many players who is playing State of Decay 2 because you've got it on Game Pass, you don't have to do anything extra to get Heartland. I think you might have to go to the store to download it, or you can, get linked to the store through the front end of our game. But you've already got it if you've got Game Pass. Now, if you don't have Game Pass, it's $9.99. You can get it from the Microsoft Store. I know that right now, right after the briefing, the store is getting pretty slammed and some folks are having trouble getting in. But if you keep trying, I promise it's there. We've downloaded it, and it's real. So there's also this thing called Refurium. I know a bunch of you already know about this. Refurium.com is a website that lets game companies basically create contests where you can win prizes and things like that for just watching the game be streamed, connecting us with us on social media, and basically helping us raise the profile of the game. We can give things back to you for participating. So if you go to refurium.com and you see the Games tab, click on the Games tab and find State of Decay 2. If you find State of Decay 2, you'll see there's a whole list of things that you can do, mostly watching our YouTube channel, watching streams of the game. If you do that stuff, you earn points, and the top several hundred people who earn the most points over the next little while, they will win prizes. A bunch of them are going to get free Heartland codes, and a bunch of them are going to get, what was the other thing? It was, the promotional weapon and vehicle packs that people haven't seen for a long time since the game originally released. We're giving away a bunch of those too. So there's going to be hundreds of winners. So go to refurium.com, check that out. If you register and if you like watching State of Decay 2 content, we've got a lot of really good streamers in our community. If you want to go check that out, there's a chance you could get this for free. Another place you can go to get free stuff is our Discord. So if you go to discord.gg/undeadlabs, you can join our community, and we've actually got a promotion going on right now. There's a channel in there called Celebrating Heartland. If you go into that channel, there's going to be a thing you can reply to in order to be entered in a drawing, and we're giving away some really, really unique prizes there. We've got a vinyl version of our soundtrack that you can get there, which is insane. And there's also a bunch of 1-month Game Pass memberships. So that's another way you can get access to Heartland for free, is if you enter that contest and you get one of those 1-month Game Pass memberships, Heartland is on Game Pass. And so you can get it that way too. And then another thing that's going to be going on really soon is Decay Fest. So for those of you who are already in our community, Decay Fest is this regular thing that Derek Blaze and Mr. Dart and K-Sizzle put on this streaming show, basically, where a bunch of people sign up to stream at different times, and they do several like days of, like an entire weekend of people streaming State of Decay 2 and celebrating State of Decay 2. So if you want to get involved, they haven't announced the next one yet, but it's coming very soon. If you follow them on Twitter, you can see the link up there. If you follow them on Twitter, you'll get updates for when they start doing signups. And if you're at all interested in streaming, I mean, Decay Fest is a great place to start streaming because there's a whole audience of people that pays attention to Decay Fest. And it's a good way to sort of, to start seeding an audience if you want to be a State of Decay 2 streamer. So there's a lot of really good folks who already participate, and it'll be great to see a bunch of you there. And what else do we have? Oh yeah, that's right, our website. So if you go to stateofdecay.com, we're posting links to our patch notes. We're posting a bunch of other things over the course of the week, explaining the game in detail and giving you insights into State of Decay 2 Heartland. So I think there's only a couple things up front, but over the course of this week during E3, if you keep going back, we're going to keep updating it, and there's going to be more information for you to find there. So let's talk a little bit about State of Decay 2 Heartland and where it came from. So last year in September, we shipped Daybreak, which it was our multiplayer base defense sort of alternate mode for the game. It brought in some of people's favorite characters because they got to play these red Talon badasses that you could recruit to your community. But once that was done, our senior world builder Luis Yepes was looking at his task list and it was empty because he had finished Daybreak, which he'd finished the map for Daybreak. And now what was he going to do? And we were still figuring out what our next move was going to be. And so he opened up State of Decay 1 and was like, let's start making Trumbull Valley. And so kind of by himself, he started putting together a Trumbull Valley map. And when we actually got to the point where it was time for us to decide what we were going to do next, he was already a couple of months into working on this thing. So we're like, yeah, let's make Trumbull Valley. That sounds amazing. And so if you guys remember, that November, we went to XO18 in Mexico City, which is a big Microsoft fan event in Mexico City. And we had just come out with the Zed Hunter pack, and we were just also announcing Choose Your Own Apocalypse. It didn't have a name yet, but we were talking about the fact that there were going to be new challenges available to players, and they were going to be able to play a harder version of the game. And it was Richard Fogey talking to Ricari, who's got his face in our game, so you should recognize him when you see him. But then Fogey said this.
2019, it's going to get a lot harder to survive in the apocalypse.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
I got one more sneaky thing.
Do your thing. What?
All right, so we're not going to say a whole lot about it, but we got something special planned. We want fans to be ready to return to Trumbull Valley in 2019. Go check out State of Decay.
All right. Well, there it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Richard, thank you so much.
So that was basically all we said about Trumbull Valley between then and now. Fogey just said people are going to return to Trumbull Valley in 2019. So now it's 2019. And, if you were watching the Microsoft briefing, you probably saw this.
My mission, find the father I never knew.
My mission, find a hero I've never met. He hasn't radioed in days.
He hasn't been seen since the outbreak.
The last time I heard his voice,
The last place he was seen was in Trumbull Valley. I've only heard whispers
I've only heard legend.
of unseen horrors. Here, we are the many.
Here, we can become stronger.
For so long, I was just surviving.
Now people are counting on me.
This is where my story could end.
This is where my story could begin.
I thought we had seen everything.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
Play it with Xbox Game Pass.
So yeah, there's the trailer for State of Decay 2 Heartland. It's one of the better trailers we've gotten to have, actually. Whoever, the people who worked on that did a really, really great job of showing what Heartland is about. It's about a lot of plague-infested zombies. It's about a new story with a bunch of unique characters, and it's about going back to these familiar places that you remember from the first game and seeing how they've changed over the years. So let's start looking into what is actually in State of Decay 2 Heartland. So first off, Trumbull Valley. Those of you who've played the original State of Decay might recognize the Fork in the Road diner. It's looking a little worse for wear these days. It's kind of full of these masses of flesh. You might want to get into the game and figure out what's going on with those. But it's got the Trumbull Valley map that you remember. I mean, when I am driving around in this map, it absolutely just evokes all of my nostalgia for the original game. And my knowledge of the original game absolutely pays off when I'm playing in this in Trumbull Valley in State of Decay 2 Heartland. So that's one of my favorite things about it, is the fact that, you know, as somebody who's played the original game, I feel like an expert coming into this because it really is, it's the same world, but then you can look at a lot of your familiar places and see how they've changed over time and what's happened in the intervening years. Next, we've got a new single-player storyline. And actually, we've got two single-player storylines. One of the things that we're kind of responding to is the fact that in State of Decay 2, we really leaned hard into the procedural storytelling and into sort of the open-ended, player-driven experience that a lot of players loved in State of Decay Breakdown. But we didn't have a super strong, specific single-player storyline to tell. The original State of Decay had one, State of Decay Lifeline had one, but State of Decay 2 shipped without one. I mean, it's got a story, and it's got a lot of different, different avenues you can pursue, but there wasn't that single through line with a bunch of specific characters that you get to know intimately and personally. And so there's a lot of players who felt like, that was something they were missing when they played State of Decay 2. So we really wanted to respond to that gap in their experience. So State of Decay 2 Heartland fills that gap. It's got two storylines that sort of, they start in different places, and both of these characters can converge on one big problem that they've got to solve in Trumbull Valley. So when I talk about these characters, who are they? So this is Larisse and Fiona. Larisse is the long-lost daughter of Mickey Wilkerson, and she is here to track down the family that she came from. And if you guys remember the Wilkersons, she might be in for a little bit of a surprise about who her people are and where she comes from. Her Aunt Fiona is along for the ride. She's been taking care of her since childhood. And, Larisse wants to do something crazy coming to Trumbull Valley, and Fiona is there to support her, come hell or high water. Or if you don't want to play Larisse and Fiona, there's Quincy and Helena. So Quincy and Helena are members of the network. They work with Lily, they know her history, and they've come back to Lily's hometown to make contact with some of her old allies and associates that they've lost contact with. And there's a whole mystery there that they need to solve about what's been going on in Trumbull Valley and what they can do about it. So two different storylines to start, but then they're all in the same place dealing with the same really big, disastrous problems that I won't get into because you guys really ought to discover them yourselves. But they're not the only characters. Quincy, Helena, Larisse, and Fiona, they're only a subset. There's actually a wide variety of different unique characters, but every single character in Heartland is handcrafted. We've still got all of the randomly generated characters in the original State of Decay 2. But in Heartland, every character was lovingly created with a backstory of their own set of traits, and their own unique contributions to the base, which is Jurassic Junction. So Jurassic Junction is a favorite, memorable location from the original game. In fact, those of you who've been watching this stream for a really, really long time might remember that Brant and I used to have a tradition of trying to grab the pterodactyl from Jurassic Junction and drive it as far as we could across Trumbull Valley. So Jurassic Junction was an interesting place. There wasn't really any story that happened there, and you couldn't settle there. It was just a weird little sidelight off on the side of the road. Now it's the heart of your experience. So you go to Jurassic Junction, you settle that as your base, and it is the largest and most complicated base we've ever done. It's got multiple big, large slots. It's got its own dedicated built-in facilities. It's got a whole, basically a kind of a different tech tree from the original game. And it's all based on the unique characters and personalities that exist across Trumbull Valley. So one of your goals is to go and get and meet all of these characters, bring them in and see what they can add to your Jurassic Junction base. What else? You guys know this guy, right? The Blood Plague Juggernaut? He showed up in Daybreak, which was like almost a year ago. That was back in September. And you guys have been asking for a really long time if there are other Blood Plague freaks, if there are other new enemies that you guys could face. And we've been like, oh yeah, that sounds like a great idea, doesn't it? Well, so this is the Blood Plague Screamer. You can kind of see him. There's so much crap in the background in this picture, you might have trouble seeing him. He's right on top of the S there. The Blood Plague Screamer is pretty deadly. He might be the first screamer that can actually directly hurt you. So give that guy a wide berth. You might want to, Quincy shows up with a pretty decent sniper rifle. Maybe you want to take this guy out from far away. Then we've got the Blood Plague Bloater. You are going to get up close and personal with these guys many, many times over the course of Heartland. There's lots of reasons why you're gonna have to get to know these guys really, really well. They are disgusting, and not only do they, do the normal damage of a bloater, but they also might be contagious. And then we've got this guy, who is probably my favorite. This is the Blood Plague Feral. He's lithe and limber and blind, just like the original Feral, but the reason this one's blind is because he's got a massive bony plate over his head. So those of you who have gotten really, really good at just headshotting Ferals when they're charging at you, those skills might not work quite as well for you when you're facing the Blood Plague Feral. So let you guys discover that guy. He's probably the first one you're going to bump into when you're playing State of Decay 2 Heartland. So overall, this is an 8-hour campaign. Depending on how you play, if you're a very strategic player who likes to really spend time building up your base, it'll take you longer. And if you blast right through like a speedrunner, you might be able to come in under the wire. But 8 hours is about how it feels, on our side. But that's about how long it takes to complete the campaign. And because there are 2 starting points and 2 sets of core characters, we're hoping that some people are going to want to play it multiple times, which will definitely beef up the playtime. And it all culminates in something I'm not going to show you a picture of, which this picture might give you a little bit of a hint of where you're headed. But there's a grueling, difficult, plague-infested experience right at the end of this story campaign. So you got to spend your time very well preparing your people, building up their skills, collecting good equipment, because you are going to need it by the end. And the one good thing about coming back to Trumbull Valley is that you get answers to questions. Now, we're definitely not answering all of the questions about our world. You're going to have lots of open questions still when you get to the end. This franchise, we're planning for this to continue for a really, really long time. So the last thing we want to do is just answer everything. But if you've been wondering what's been going on in Trumbull Valley, if you've been wanting to understand the Blood Plague a little bit better, if you've been wanting to understand Cleo a little bit better, the first time we started hearing Cleo was in Trumbull Valley. What's going on with that? There's a little bit more for you to gnaw on in here. There's lore and there's familiar places. Like here you see the Church of the Ascension. There's a lot that you can sort of dig your teeth into if you're a lore focused player who really likes to sort of dig into the story of our world. And then finally, of course, new achievements. We've got 500 gamer score to give out, so if achievements are your thing, we've got plenty to give you. This is the art for one of them. Doug really outdid himself this time. Some of my favorite achievement art that we've had so far has been for State of Decay 2 Heartland, especially this bright neon pink thing that we got going on here. So that's State of Decay 2 Heartland in a nutshell. There's still, I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions, and let me look over here. So if you guys want to queue up any questions that you have, ask them in the chat. Megan and Joe are paying attention, and they can feed those questions to me. I'd love to get to as many of them as I can. In the meantime, though, while you're thinking about what to type into the chat, there's something else you should try typing into the chat. which is !enter. Because we're giving away 6 free codes for State of Decay 2 Heartland during this stream. So if you type !enter into the stream, that will enter you into a giveaway that Megan's running. And then around 4:15, we'll come back and it'll be done at 4:15. And so anyone who enters this during that time is entered into the giveaway. And then Megan will make contact with the winners and get you your copies of State of Decay 2 Heartland. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to start rolling some B-roll here and talking a little bit about the game. I might interrupt the answering of questions to point out things that are going on the screen. So let's see here. Von Ronken wants to know, will new weapons from Heartland work in the base game, or will they lock? I'm pretty sure that weapons that you get in Heartland are specific to Heartland, but the only way you can get them out from Heartland into the base game is if you're playing in multiplayer. And you drop into somebody else's Heartland game and pick up a weapon that they got from Heartland and bring it back. There's a handful of pretty cool high-end weapons that are a part of Heartland, and I believe that you have to be a Heartland owner in order to use them. Though, if Joe or Megan knows otherwise, feel free to correct me, because I wasn't deeply involved with that with setting up the weapons, and so I could easily be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure they're Heartland specific. Awesome Twitch Dude wants to know, can my Heartland characters join my friends' games? No. So when you're playing Heartland, you're playing with this very specific set of characters. Oh, check that out. You see that screamer? Might have just done damage to our character. Anyway, when you're playing Heartland, you've got this unique cast of characters that are very specific to the story. And when a friend of yours wants to join, they don't bring one of their Heartland characters into your game, because then you'd have 2 of them and that would be really awkward. But they can bring characters from their core communities into your game, just as though they were joining any multiplayer game. So whatever random characters they might have in their home communities, they can bring them into your Heartland game and vice versa. You can't join multiplayer using your Heartland community, because there's a lot of, because the stories of Heartland are specifically about the characters of Heartland, having characters die off screen because you took them into somebody else's game could potentially really mess things up. You see him fighting that Peral there? That guy looks pretty dangerous. Anyway, it would cause some problems. And so, no, you can't bring your Heartland characters into other people's multiplayer games, but they can bring their characters into yours. Helgi7212 wants to know, how much storyline time has passed between State of Decay 1 and Heartland? I believe that what we've said is about 18 months passed between the original State of Decay and State of Decay 2. And so Heartland takes place in the timeline of State of Decay 2. So all of that time that passed between the 2 games has passed here in Trumbull Valley. And you can see a lot has changed about this world. We're starting to repeat here, so let me just go into the slideshow of screenshots. Jay Stark wants to know, are there any returning fan favorite characters, I assume, is what you're asking. So definitely there's a lot of fan favorite locations. You can see them here. I already mentioned earlier that Larisse is specifically here to find the Wilkersons. And so there's a decent chance you might end up meeting a Wilkerson or 2 over the course of this story. And Quincy is because he's a close ally of Lily's, and he's come here specifically to track down Lily's old allies here in Trumbull Valley. I think you can expect that he's going to meet some old friends of Lily's. I won't get into too much detail about it. I want you guys to be able to discover it on your own. But yes, there are definitely fan favorite characters that are coming back. Hail Damage wants to know, can you go at your own pace, or is anything time-based? So that was one issue with State of Decay Lifeline, which was there were these escalating sieges that would happen in Lifeline that you had to participate in, and they got worse and worse, and eventually you were going to have to leave, and everything felt very, very time-based. In Heartland, it's a lot less so. You can actually, if you want to rush through Heartland, it's going to be a lot harder because time and preparation, taking the time that it takes to build up to being able to defeat some of the challenges that are at the end of the game, that's going to definitely be worth your while. And so you kind of decide how fast you want to take on these challenges, and the difficulty can kind of scale a little bit with the time that you want to spend. Surreal Scotsman wants to know, does the story mode have difficulty levels? And no, the entire thing is harder than baseline State of Decay 2, especially because everything has Blood Plague, and there's all these new Blood Plague enemies that are harder than their original counterparts. So you'll definitely find a challenge here. But no, there aren't explicit difficulty levels for Heartland. It's all one difficulty level, and then you decide, how prepared you want to be. So Zanquavius Tortini wants to know, can we play on this map with our own communities? No. State of Decay, the Trumbull Valley map was built specifically for State of Decay Heartland. And there's very specific things about that story that mean the map needed to support them in certain ways. And the map is not supporting the baseline story stuff from the original game. And so those two they're very different from each other. And so this map is serving the needs of the Heartland campaign, and it's not serving the needs of the core, stories that you experienced with the original State of Decay 2. And so as far as, whether or not there are ever going to be new core maps for State of Decay 2 and expanding that core experience, TBD. We haven't announced anything along those lines. But Trumbull Valley here is very specifically part of the Heartland campaign. And so don't go into it expecting that you'll be able to bring your normal regular communities into the Trumbull Valley map. That's not the way it's going to work. But long term, I should say, this is not the last update that we're making to State of Decay 2. We're very serious about continuing to support this game and this franchise into the future. So if there's anything that you were hoping to get out of Heartland that turns out you're not going to get it out of this particular release, please do not give up hope. Please keep talking to us and telling us what you want, because we are still working on this game. And we are not done giving you guys new things. So don't give up. We are still on board. We are still paying attention to what you guys ask for, and we know specifically that you want expansions to the core experience. And that is kind of where we're directing our attention in the wake of Heartland's release. Robbie Joseph wants to know if the World War II weapons are in Heartland. Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that they should be, because they did get added into the regular weapon lists. And I think we just implemented the regular weapon lists here in the loot system for Trumbull Valley. So yes, I'm pretty sure that they're in there, unless I'm wrong. In which case, I will apologize. But I'm pretty sure you should be able to find them. The thing is, they'll be mixed in with all of the other weapons in the game. And so the chances of you running into a particular World War II weapon are fairly low, but, the whole range of weapons is there. Cisco wants to know, what happens if you die? The people that love us will miss us. Sorry, that's a Keanu Reeves reference, because that guy was in E3, which just blew my mind. But anyway, no, the question is, what happens if you die in the game? If you die in the game, then, let's see, then it's just like any other State of Decay game. Like, one character dies, the rest of the community moves on and continues. And when you lose your last character, the game is over. So there's nothing really new and special about death, except for the fact that we're telling a specific story about specific characters. So when some characters die, it makes a bigger impact on the story than it would in the core game. But yeah, death works the same way it always has in State of Decay. Jock of all trades wants to know, will all of the new Blood Plague freaks make it into the core game? Not immediately. For right now, they are all in Heartland, though I would not put, I wouldn't give up on that idea for the future. For right now, though, Heartland is where you can see those Blood Plague freaks. Hemorrhoid Master wants to know, what was it like for the devs to return to the first game map? Well, it's kind of interesting because, our studio, the studio that created the original State of Decay, was about 20-some people. And now we've got a studio of about 80 people, so a ton of us actually were fans of the original game, and we're not creators of the original game. Like, I was hired right after State of Decay 1 came out. And so for me, this was not, getting to return to an old thing I had worked on. This was getting to return to a thing I had played as a player. And so it was very exciting, but it was kind of a fanboyish sort of excitement for me, rather than, returning to old stomping grounds where I had worked before. Now, I guess I did work on State of Decay Breakdown, so I have worked in Trumbull Valley, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like this for us, for a lot of us, felt like sort of like a fan's dream of getting to work in a place where previously you'd only played it as a player. Wade Johnson just noticed that Prestige is available in the HUD. Does that mean that we can recruit Red Talon members? Actually, we've kind of clamped down on the radio options that are available to you during Heartland because Heartland is a very specific experience. We didn't want it to get too crazied up by whatever radio options we decided to add into the game. So there's a limited subset of the radio options, including, I believe, that you cannot bring in Daybreak characters. Hey, look, it's 4 o'clock. And our plan was to bring in Patrick Hooley. Want to loop around here and sit in this chair? So Patrick Hooley is the development director on State of Decay 2. And I wanted to get him in here to talk a little bit about what it's like to release a game like this. And maybe together play a little bit of Heartland so you guys can see it. Those of you who haven't had a chance to download it yet can see the game firsthand. So, hi, Patrick.
Hey, Geoffrey, how's it going?
What are you doing here on Sunday?
I'm rapidly refreshing web pages as quickly as I can. I'm trying to just keep track of the launch, making sure it goes smoothly, keeping a close eye on the telemetry from the game, observing any new crashes that we might have. Actually, we don't yet, so that's great.
Okay, good.
All sorts of exciting producery things like that, just making sure it all goes nice and smoothly. So I'm watching about 6 different pipelines to make sure everything's coming back good.
So there's only like a handful of us here in the office because typically Undead Labs does not usually work its people on the weekends if they can help it.
Yes, and to be really clear, nobody asked us specifically to come in today. I think it's a little bit of a passion for both of us.
Yeah, exactly. So we're here. Joe Swarner is here, and Lisa, our wonderful operations person, is here. And so we're here making sure that the lights stay on for you guys. If any disasters happen, we want to make sure that we're here to catch them. But and also, we wanted to talk to you. We wanted to do this stream. So releasing a game at the same time that you announce it at a press conference. Mm-hmm. Is there something special about trying to make that happen?
Yes, there's a lot of magic there and a lot of stress there. We have to make sure that we have everything lined up just right for our release schedule. We had to kind of talk to the Microsoft folks putting together the E3 briefing, which they are incredibly secretive about. Nobody's allowed in when they're doing briefings beforehand. They tape over everyone's camera phone to make sure nobody films it. So we could only know about ballpark when we were actually going to be announced. So we had to use that information to say, okay, let's launch the game around 2 p.m., which is what we did. So in order to actually line up that launch, we had to have the store page ready. We had to have the actual content ready. Absolutely everything had to line up for just like one crescendo that was releasing the game at that moment. And it actually went live about 3 minutes before we announced.
So if you were watching very, very closely, you might have caught this a little bit early. So we were actually just hanging out in our lunchroom watching Mixer on the big TV in there and just waiting to see our game come out. And there was, actually, I almost said, corrected myself to say watch our game get announced. But no, we were watching our game come out live at E3, which was insane. So we've got a copy of State of Decay 2 Heartland installed right here. And Patrick has played this more than I have.
That is true.
So the work that I did on State of Decay Heartland was mostly a lot of the little side missions and the side characters and sort of creating the stats for the characters. And so I've played lots of little tiny pieces of Heartland. But playing Heartland all the way through is and getting that experience is something that only certain people get a chance to really do while you're right in the thick of working on it. And so Patrick's one of the folks who actually has done that before. Mm-hmm. And so let's show them what it's like to start a new game in Heartland. The first step is a loading screen, as always. Though I was actually really excited to hear them talking about Scarlet and the new SSD that they've come up with to try to minimize loading times.
That's going to be really fun. I think we can actually we're going to have to develop from the ground up for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm imagining game studios will have asynchronous loading, so it's just going to be swapping over from hard drive to hard drive. It'll be great.
That would be mind-blowing. Okay, so.
All right.
So the game starts out, you've got 2 options here. So this is Larisse and her Aunt Fee. Mm-hmm. And you see Larisse she is our vehicle specialist. So we're kind of covering up the storyline, but that's fine. You guys can discover that yourselves later. But yeah, she's our vehicle expert, and she is here specifically to find her father, who she's never met. Her mother left Trumbull Valley a long time ago, pregnant, and Larisse has never been back here. So she's coming to sort of find her roots and figure out where she came from.
Mm-hmm. And then the other side, we've got Quincy and Helena.
Yeah, so Quincy he's like an old school network guy. He's one of the first friends that Lily made after she left Trumbull Valley, and so he's coming back to connect with some of her old allies that they've lost contact with. And there's something weird going on in Trumbull Valley, and he's here to figure out what's going on. And we're not going to tell you what's going on, but We should probably start because I think we were planning that the next stream we do, we're actually going to spend some more time playing with Quincy. So why don't we start with Quincy?
Start with Quincy?
Yeah, let's start with Quincy. So we're getting into the game here, and we really wanted to start the game with a little bit of a splash. Well, we'll let you guys listen to this.
Echo Actual, this is Echo 1. Do you copy? It's been 17 days since we received your last message, and our situation continues to decline. I need more soldiers, Colonel, or this operation cannot succeed. Echo Actual, please respond. Can anyone hear me? Is anyone out there?
I wonder whose voice that is.
I absolutely love the blood plague treatment on that stuff. Sorry, folks.
Yeah.
I'm a non-inverted player.
Oh, whoops! I should not have left it there. It's down under controls. I forgot that I left it on inverted. I apologize. That's my fault.
No worries.
This is Trumbull.
So here we are. We are Quincy and Helena.
Around, kid.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
This is where it all started.
That's not actually true. The outbreak started all over. Everybody knows that.
I meant the network. Lily's time here inspired the whole damn idea. We should get moving. No telling what's roaming around out here.
So you can see that Quincy is already giving you guys a little bit of a window into the story of State of Decay.
So now I'm wondering, what is our policy containing around spoilers?
So what I was hoping we would do is just take this just as far as Jurassic Junction, which is one of our, the fact that you settled Jurassic Junction is one of our bullet points. We're saying that up front. And
Oh, thank you.
nicely done.
So this is one of our new blood plague Perals.
Yeah, who is pretty deadly. You'll see that he's got this bony carapace over his head.
There we go.
There you go. Once you smash the carapace, then you can take him out.
What, you were expecting a picnic? Toughen up, kid. Now stick close. We gotta find some help before we can start looking for Santos.
I have a hard time not absolutely just running through this section because it's almost muscle memory at this point. Just,
Exactly. Trying to slow down so that it's actually kind of a presentation is hard when you've been playing it so many times.
This guy might know Ray Santos.
So yeah, it looks like we had the question earlier about whether we're going to see any fan favorite characters. I think you guys might recognize some of the names that are being bandied about in the dialogue.
I don't know that one.
Well, I know everybody in this valley. You're not from around here, are you?
No. Came here looking for somebody.
Tell you what, if you help me out, I can probably point you in the right direction. Look, I'm trying to take back my home from the zombies that killed all my friends. Excellent. Let's go fuck some shit.
You might notice the name of his community is Jurassic Junction.
Want you to be careful,
So
okay?
he's asking you to help him clean up his old stomping grounds.
now let's roll, folks.
Mr. Barbecue says, I'm going to have to play the original game again.
You might. It holds up. I still love the original game.
Trumbull Valley
So people are starting to recognize who Ray Santos is. They're like, he's the car guy, right? Yep, he's the car guy.
Folks would take us up to Mount Tanner for the weekend.
We've actually heard a lot of stories about the valley.
So yeah, I remember driving down this highway so many times.
There's no such thing as a paradise anymore.
Oh, that's not
People
a
need to
good
get
car
used to
nearby.
that.
Okay,
Yeah, this
that's the place.
part definitely, the roads line up pretty dang closely with the original map. So if you've been playing the original recently, it should feel pretty familiar.
Let's go take your home back, huh?
Scrizzle Network wants to know if playing Heartland counts against your community limit of 3. No, we treat it like it's a separate game mode. It's basically like Daybreak. It's something you play on the side. It's got its own slot.
Yeah. But we have one Heartland save slot, so you can only have one Heartland themed game at a time.
Yeah, this one. Carlton Sanders wants to know if the Wandering Trader shows up in Heartland. No, the Wandering Trader does not. If you want to trade with people, you got to make friends with the local enclaves that exist here. But there's several. You've got a few different options there.
Yeah, plenty of good trade options here.
Yeah, and there's some characters where you have the option to recruit them or become allies with them and trade with them. That is one of the grossest kills we have.
Yes, it is. Let's see how many can I get. Just one.
Nice. So yeah, Quincy is a weapon expert, and you can see that he's got a kind of got a favorite gun there that he's brought with him.
Actually, both the starter choices have pretty fun guns to start the game.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, because Larisse starts with one of those big nasty AKs.
I think she's got an M4.
That's
with
what
a pretty
was.
sizable clip, and so that's great. You really don't need to upgrade that thing for quite some time in the game. Here's one of the shambling former residents.
Oh yeah, so you want to pay attention to these guys because they've got some of them have useful equipment on them after you kill them, because these are Malik's former friends.
Which I'm gonna let them deal with fighting while I loot. My favorite moves in games.
So yeah, so you've got a repair kit and some gas and oh yeah, a note found on the dead body. I'm sure that's full of interesting stuff. And, so that car that you drove over here was a piece of crap, but if you loot these bodies, that should give you what you need to get it up and running again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, good thing I took a straight line to this place because it was not gonna run for much longer.
So, Avatar 399 wants to know, do you have to complete the story, or can you stay on the map forever? I mean, I guess you can stay for as long as you want.
You can stay for as long as you want. There's no
timer telling you have to quit by a certain time.
No, and you can kind of self-sustain with some of the facilities that we have in Jurassic Junction, but you will pretty soon start to face like a resource, some resource pressure to kind of move along. We do have a way. There is a way to stay in the map after completing the main storyline, which I guess
Kind of answers the question, yeah. So so you've got the Jurassic Junction base. So let's poke around a little bit and just see what we've got here. So this is the largest base we have ever had. Oh look, we just got an achievement.
City Race Farmer.
So there's an achievement for recruiting all of the unique characters. So each one that you get, you'll get an achievement for, which is pretty fun. And there's sort of an incentive for you to try to meet all of the different personalities that sort of still live here in Trumbull Valley. But yeah, we've got more slots in this base than we've ever had. And most of what you can build in this base is actually pretty unique. I mean, some of them fall into familiar roles, like a workshop and an infirmary, but everything's had sort of a new coat of paint, and there's some completely new facilities that you've never seen before. So start now by just fixing a couple of things.
Yeah, you get kind of again, sorry, I'm falling back into an optimized play style. You do get a little bit of a bonus for, you get a building speed bonus just when you initially move in, so it's nice to kind of kick off some things immediately. And then the facility art, I absolutely love what Dan and the guys did there.
Yeah, and you can only see a small fraction of it right now on the screen because there's so many of the things. Either these places are kind of busted right now, or you still have to build them. Some of the facilities, the brand new facilities for the game, you have to build them from scratch after you meet the character who unlocks them.
Yeah, so right now this is the busted up version of the farming complex, which Helena's working to get up to speed right now. Yeah, and then that's Malik's special ability.
Oh yeah, he's a really good farmer. He's actually learned how to farm in urban areas since he had to survive. He actually is from Danforth, and he survived by escaping to Trumbull Valley and learning how to farm. So he knows what he's doing, and he can get you sorted that way. And then Quincy and Helena each have specialties that they bring into the community. And this might just be about as far as we want to take it right now because most people have not yet downloaded the game and we don't want to reveal any more about the storyline. The first couple of missions that you get are mostly about just sort of getting yourself up and running, learning again how to cure the blood plague, using, like I said, using the medical tent here. But pretty quickly, the main storyline is gonna grab you. Your characters are gonna start wanting to pursue the missions that brought them to Trumbull Valley in the first place. And once that kicks off, it kind of it leads you on sort of a multi-phase storyline that takes you through about 8 hours of gameplay or more, depending on how you decide to play. And then if you want to know what the other half of the storyline looks like, you can come back and you can try the game again. So I guess that's about the stream. Thank you for coming in, Patrick.
Yeah, not a problem.
Talking to folks. And
been fun.
let's do a quick little reminder of all the stuff we said up front. Actually, wait, it's 4:15. Megan, are you guys ready with the contest winners yet? Let me know about that. But let's look at this. So, Refurium. You guys remember Refurium? Refurium.com. If you get over there, go to their games tab, check out State of Decay 2. There's this whole promotion going on right now where you can win free copies of Heartland. You can win free weapon and vehicle packs just by watching streams and engaging with us on social media. So go check that out. We've also got Discord. If you go join our Discord community, discord.gg/undeadlabs, we've actually got another contest going there in the Celebrating Heartland channel, where you can win vinyl copies of our soundtrack and 1 month subscriptions to Game Pass. So definitely go check that out. And also Discord is where, if you haven't joined our community already, that Discord is where you can send us your ideas, let us know about any wish list items that you have for the game, and communicate with us. We're on there and we participate, and we really want to hear you guys' feedback. And then on top of that, there's Decay Fest, which is kicking off really soon. So if you follow Decay Fest on Twitter, you can keep track of the next time they launch a new event, which is going to be very, very soon. It's a great place if you want to be a State of Decay 2 streamer. It's a great place to start because there's a built-in audience of people who want to watch these streams and who are aware of them. So go check that out. And big thanks to everyone in the community who's contributed to Decay Fest. And then last but not least, there's our website, stateofdecay.com. If you want to go there, we're going to be posting new articles there throughout E3, and there's a lot of information you can get about Heartland that way. You can get our patch notes, you can get our guide to the game, that sort of thing. So please go over there. And then one last thing, tomorrow at 3 o'clock Pacific time, Wonder Russell is going to be on Inside Xbox. And so Inside Xbox, it's a show on YouTube. If you go check it out, she's going to be talking even more about Heartland and what it contains. So go and check that out. And I think that is basically it. So, thank you guys so much for coming in here and chatting with us. Thank you again to Patrick for coming in and talking to us.
Thanks for having me.
And we are going to go. So go and play Heartland. Once this goes on YouTube, I'm going to stick a link to the trailer on here. I'm going to stick a link to our patch notes, which actually, you know what? As Patrick sneaks off, why don't I do another little video about the patch notes right now?
Bye, everybody.